You are listening to Julia's Trucking Cafe News Hour. Welcome back to Julia's Trucking Cafe Trucking News Hour. How's everybody doing? I'm glad you could join me for the show this week. Thank you for taking so much out of your day and out of your time and your busy schedule to join me here on the Trucking News Hour. As always, I have lots of news to get to, so let's get right to it. Just a second. A proposed DOT ad campaign is to lure more workers to the transportation industry. So the focus of this ad campaign that they're talking about is to attract a larger and more diverse workforce to the trucking, aviation, and other transportation industries. A newly introduced bill would attempt to grow U.S. transportation workforce through the advertising campaign. The bill is called Promoting Service in Transportation Act, and it was introduced November 15th by Representatives Rick Larson, Don Young, and Angie Craig. This would attempt to attract workers to the transportation careers by the DOT to develop a series of broadcast, digital, and print media public service announcement campaigns to promote job opportunities in these transportation areas. According to a press release from Larson's office and that's in this article, it'll promote two things: promote career opportunities in the transportation sector, including pilots, safety inspectors, mechanics, technicians, and traffic air controllers, and flight attendants, truck drivers, engineers, transit workers, railroad workers, and other transportation professionals. It also is to increase diversity, including race, gender, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status of professionals in this sector. Lawmakers say that many sectors in the transportation, including trucking, need more workers to stay competitive. Now, as we all know that's in this industry, there's plenty of truck drivers. Look at all the problems with places to park, trying to find parking and everything. The need for more professional airline pilots, traffic controllers, railroad workers, and truck drivers, quote, mechanics, my cat's making noise, among other professionals grows as the industry stakeholders face increased competition worldwide. For instance, the aviation industry, it says here in this article, will need more than 800,000 pilots, 769 technicians, and nearly 20,000 traffic controllers to meet the demand over the next 10 years. Now, the trucking industry, they say, needs 60,000 to 100,000 more drivers each year. Really? Really? If you paid us more and if you wouldn't be buying equipment in bulk like you do, you wouldn't have so many trucks sitting. Not only does the transportation workforce face significant shortages, there's also a diverse issue. Over 90% of professional airline pilots and truck drivers are white males. In Washington state and across the country, according to Larson, transportation means jobs. As demand continues to grow, is important. All Americans are aware of the career opportunities available in the transportation sector. To give the next generation workforce, he'll continue working in Congress to make sure all Americans have access to good paying jobs and more skilled training to succeed. While the bill points out shortages of truck drivers in the U.S., trucking groups like OOIDA and myself have for years argued that truck driver shortage is a myth, and it's true that the real problem is stagnant driver wages and high turnover, which is true. So let's on to the next article. And a truck driver opens up fire on another truck driver in Michigan. Michigan police say that a truck driver is allegedly charged for opening up fire on another one, and this happened Friday, November 15th in Monroe County, Michigan. They were both traveling on I-75 in Friendship Township when one of the drivers opened fire on the other one. A 68-year-old truck driver was the shooting victim, and he called 911. And the shooter was 50 years old. No injuries were reported, luckily, so he wasn't apparently a good shot. Thank goodness. Police responded, and located both of the drivers. They were able to find the bullet in the passenger door of the truck of the guy that was shot at. They also found the handgun in the shooter's truck. The 50-year-old suspect was arrested and is facing charges of assault with intent to murder, or, as I like to call it, assault with a deadly weapon. Police have not released information on what led up to the shooting. If you have any information about this shooting and you're able to contact the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, you could do so by calling 734-240-7705. That's 734-240-7705. Now, Pilot Flying J, in another article, are debuting a small fleet network, for fueling for small fleets. And according to this, they announced it on November 19th, on Tuesday, and they launched what's called 19 Fuel Network. According to the article that's listed in the article, and I'm sorry, I'm stumbling. It's really early in the morning when I'm recording this. I'm trying to get this out to you guys, so sorry for the delay. I've just been really tweaking this. Anyways, back to the article. The 19 Fuel Network program is designed to give smaller fleets access to personalized credit and enhanced loyalty options with a variety of travel center brands. They're also touting that they'll have flexible credit options and that are designed to help truckers operate their businesses more successfully. 19 Fuel Network members will have access to nearly 200 truck stops locations, including Speedway, Mr. Fuel, Pride, Stay Mart, in addition to the Pilot Flying J fueling network. Reward and loyalty options include a free drink with a 50-gallon diesel fuel purchase and an introductory 2 points per gallon of diesel fuel that you purchased. If you want more information on the program, you can go to my show notes that I'll have in the link listed in the description below, and click on the link in the bottom of the article. Now, this driver was driving drunk, allegedly, his semi in a small town with 2 kids in the car. Whoops. 2 kids. Bunny rabbit ears. 2 kids in the car. According to this article, Pennsylvania police have issued multiple charges after a bizarre incident in Exeter on Monday evening, and this was around the 19th. According to their police department, officers Melvizzi and Jones responded to the area of Penn Avenue and Monday Court for a report of a tractor trailer driving down a narrow side street, nearly hitting parked vehicles. When they arrived, the tractor attempted to flee down Monday Court, striking a parked vehicle and a utility pole. Once stopped, the passenger fled. Excuse me a second. The passenger fled from the vehicle with 2 children in her arms, and the driver exhibited signs of being drunk. The operator, the driver, Mr. Pitts, that you see here on the left, and the female driver, Doris, Mr. Pitts engaged in a physical altercation with the officers trying to evade arrest. Well, Doris, the female passenger, is also taken into custody after interfering with Pitts being arrested. And she was also exhibiting signs of being drunk while she was holding 2 infant children in her arms, causing a minor injury to one of them. The truck driver, Pitts, he's 55 years old. He was charged with driving under the influence, resisting arrest, and endangering the welfare of a child, and other various charges. Doris, as you see here on the right, she's 27. She was charged with child endangerment, disorderly conduct, and obstruction of law enforcement. After their arrest, the pair were taken to jail and held on $75,000 bail for Doris and a $100,000 bond for Pitts. Police say that the two children were placed in protective custody, which I'm sure they'll now be wards of the state. And Democrats tell a Connecticut governor to revive his truck-only tolling plan. And I'm sorry I'm squinting, but my eyes are being kind of wonky this morning because it's so early. So again, I apologize. The week of November 19th, House Democrats called on Governor of Connecticut to reconsider his scrap plan to toll only commercial drivers. On that Tuesday, Connecticut House Speaker Joe and House Majority Leader Matt Ritter asked Governor Ned Lamont to implement a truck-only toll plan in place of the infrastructure funding plan called CT 2030 that rolled out earlier this month that involved tolling both cars and trucks. You know why they're doing this, right? They don't want to pay the toll for their cars. They just want to grab us truck drivers because they think they could charge more, like 7 times more than a car. And these legislators, of course, they don't want to pay the damn tolls to fix their own damn roads. I don't have a problem not going to Connecticut anymore. I have no problem at all. I didn't lose nothing there. But anyway, back to the article. I'm sorry, I digress. Lamont responded to the truck-only toll proposal. I'm appreciative of House Democrats' thoughtful contribution to the discussion about Connecticut's economic future and a critical need for investment in our transportation system, he said. Lamont's original CT 2030 plan blamed trucks for infrastructure damage and tolled trucks at a significantly higher rate. From the Lamont's plan, the language, quote, the heavier tractor-trailer trucks that significantly wear and tear our bridges will pay 7 times more than the base car rate, which is comparable to the regional average, end quote. On the campaign trail in 2018, Lamont told voters that he believed he could generate anywhere from $100 million to $200 million from truck-only tolling. Well, after he was elected and he got harsh pushback from the trucking groups and the anti-tolling groups, all of a sudden he started backpedaling, and then he backed off from the plan, admitting that in an op-ed that, the truck-only option provides too little revenue, too slowly, too piecemeal to make a meaningful difference. Yeah, you're backpedaling real good, ain't ya? I'm like, unbelievable. And in our next story, a truck driver going too fast through a small town decides to put it into a funeral home. Hint, hint. A truck driver, tough turn, sends him into a funeral home. And of course he's going to tell the officers, my brakes failed. Like my t-shirt says, slow the F down. Really? That's what Lee's saying here? Oop. Keep smacking my head. Lee says slow the F down. And you can buy these shirts on the cafe menu. Cafe store on the cafe menu, my bad. North Carolina, let's get back to the article. Sorry, I keep digressing. I'm trying to loosen up. I'm trying to have fun on the videos now. I'm way out of my comfort zone. But anyway, back to the article. North Carolina police, they cited this driver after he crashed into a funeral home on Tuesday, and this is back in November the 20th in Winston-Salem, North Carolina at 9:15 p.m. 34-year-old California-based truck driver Jing Hung, and I'm not making that name up, H-U-N-G, was hauling a load of plastic bags and other materials on I-40 Business West when he tried and failed to make a turn onto South Main Street. He crashed into this Salem funeral home when he tried to make that turn. Hung and 31-year-old female passengers suffered minor injuries, but both refused medical treatment after the crash. The funeral home was empty at the time of the crash. He said that the driver said that the brake failure was to blame for the crash, but the police cited him for careless and reckless driving. Now, in sad news, 2 children have died in a fatal accident on a farm with a grain truck. Indiana police are investigating 2 young children that lost their lives due to a grain truck. They were struck by a grain truck. Police say that a farm in Kosciuszko near Napanee, Indiana, just before 2 p.m. on around the 20th of November as well, were struck. They were ages 3 and 5. Ben Sheets jumped in the truck. He's 26 years old. He didn't look underneath, and apparently the kids were playing underneath the truck, and he jumped in and moved it forward and ran over them. The children were both pronounced dead at the scene, and apparently they lived, at the farm or nearby, and they were just playing around the truck, probably, in the shade or whatever, and of course, they're little. They didn't know any better, and he didn't look. And a lot of times that happens, and I want to send out my condolences to the family. It's very hard to lose children in that kind of a way with being so little. So my condolences to the family. And in other news, a Sparhawk driver got beat with a pool cue in Arizona. Now, warning, if you have kids that are watching this video, please take them into the next room. The next set of pictures I'm going to show you are graphic. Arizona police are on the hunt for a suspect who they say severely beat a driver back in September. On Wednesday, in November, police at Glendale, Arizona issued a call for public help in locating a suspect wanted for aggravated assault against this driver. This is Bruce Adams. And on September 7th, around 10:30 at night, Glendale police responded to a call about a fight at a bar. And when they arrived, they found Mr. Adams laying on the ground, severely injured, and 2 bar patrons attempted to administer first aid. In a news release from Glendale police, they explained the circumstances leading up to the attack. He has reached out to the police department, asking them to share what had occurred to him, his injuries, and those photos. Bruce is a semi-truck driver and drives long hours with his co-pilot and best friend, his dog Cash. Bruce has parked his semi behind a grocery store on the corner of 59th and Bethany Home Road and left the vehicle running with Cash comfortably inside guarding the truck. He saw that there was a bar across the road and decided to pop in for a quick drink. Bruce said he ordered 1 drink from the bartender and was on his phone FaceTiming a friend. He was getting a strange vibe in the bar and finished half of his drink when he asked the bartender for his tab. Bruce said that the female started arguing with him about returning his card. Bruce does not remember anything else. When officers arrived, no one in the bar claimed to know what happened to Bruce, including the bartender. Bruce suffered 3 lateral strikes to his head and face, possibly from being struck with a pool cue. He believes someone struck him from behind while he was speaking to the bartender. A cash reward of up to $1,000 is being offered for information leading to the arrest of the suspect. You can leave an anonymous tip by dialing 480-WITNESS or 480-TESTIGO. So I hope Bruce is doing a whole lot better. As truck drivers, we all know what it's like to be at a shipper's or receiver's and have to wait to be loaded for hours on end. Am I right? Especially produce coolers and paper bills. That's why you need to be prepared with extra food in your truck. My Patriot Supply helps you stay prepared. Now, it's not what you're thinking. My Patriot Supply is delicious emergency food. They have food kits that are good up to 25 years. They come in a small, slimline plastic tote, and they store easily under your bunk or in your pantry. I could speak from experience. Living through Hurricane Katrina, I had 5 60-foot pine trees snap in half across my driveway. I was landlocked in. I couldn't get out for food. If I knew then what I know now about my Patriot Supply, I would have definitely had some in my pantry. Luckily, the First Aid and American Red Cross flew in, and National Guard flew in MREs for us, cases of MREs, but that's the only way we could eat. Like I said, we were without power for 10 days. Now you could get for a limited time a 1-week food supply kit in a handy, neat-looking ammo can, like an ammunition can, for just $39. You know you spend more than that in a week buying meals out at a truck stop. And now with the bad weather, what's going to happen when the power goes out at a truck stop? With ice storms or bad weather coming in or anything, or the roads are closed and you have to sit on the side of the interstate or on an on-ramp because any of the interstates, like a couple of weeks ago, the whole state of Wyoming was shut down. They're going to run out of food because trucks can't get in to make their deliveries. What are you going to do? It's neat to stay prepared and have this right in your side box. For just $39, you get a week's supply of breakfast, lunch, and dinners. They even offer, My Patriot Supply even offers gluten-free food for just under $100. All you have to do to get yours today is go to juliastrucketcafe.com, click on the Emergency Food Supply tab, scroll down, and click on any of the images to find out more information. You insure your car, you buy health insurance, vision and dental. Why not buy food insurance? Stay prepared with anything that happens. Go to juliastrucketcafe.com, click on the Emergency Food Supply tab, and get prepared today. Telling you, it's worth it. Now, let's get back to the news. Wait, as I pull up my article, because I can't remember all of them since I go through so many every week. And a truck's manifest said plastic garment hangers. They found 10 tons of pot instead. In a routine border crossing, turned into a massive drug bust at a California port of entry. The drug discovery was made by Otay Mesa Cargo, port of entry in California, around 9 a.m. on Monday morning, November 17th, by U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. They said that 47-year-old Mexican citizen was driving the truck full of plastic garment hangers, according to his bill of ladings. But when they went in and put it through the x-ray machine, they kind of noticed something wasn't right, so they called in their drug dog, and the drug alerted to the trailer. Well, they looked behind a few rows of boxes and found 858 plastic-wrapped packages stacked floor to ceiling, containing a total of 10 tons of marijuana. The street value, $8.4 million. Authorities canceled the truck driver's B1, B2, I guess license for him to, move between U.S. and Mexico, and then handed him over to Homeland Security. The truck, the trailer, and all of the contents were seized by the Customs and Border Patrol. Well, of course. Quote, the ability from the article, quote, the ability of Customs and Border Patrol officers to intercept contraband at the port of entry is a perfect example of their efforts to secure our border, end quote, said the officer in charge at that port of entry. The Border Patrol officers prevented over 10 tons of marijuana from entering our community. Kudos to them. Thank you for doing a great, great job. And you guys are going to love this one. New driver monitoring product can tell if you're smoking or on the cell phone or don't have your seatbelt on or distracted driving or if you're tired. The week of November 21st, a tech company announced a new product that could provide, I'll talk eventually, provide fleets with real-time alerts about various driving behaviors like cell phone usage and smoking. Isay Technologies announced that they added new features to their Driver Sense and Fleet Sense driver that not only detect drowsy driving but also provide fleets with real-time alerts about whether a driver is using a cell phone, wearing a seatbelt, or smoking behind the wheel. Now, I'm wondering with this Isay, that it probably is a rear-facing camera. If your company is using that, please leave a comment in the description below on YouTube or on our Facebook group under this article, that our Facebook page, that let me know if it's the rear-facing cameras or not. I'm assuming that it is, but you know what happens when you assume something. The latest, according to the article, the latest update increases the scope of driver monitoring to extend beyond physical attributes of the driver to recognize driver actions and can now detect the smoking of a cigarette and cell phone usage related to distractions. The new capabilities enable car manufacturers to intelligently alert the driver based on the type of distraction detected. Cell phone use may trigger one type of alert, where showing signs of drowsiness can trigger a more urgent response. Takes me just a second to get where I want to be. In addition to road safety, Isay Technology has seen that in the trucking industry, detection of smoking goes beyond distraction mitigation. With hazmat shipments such as oil and gas, cigarette smoking is against the law and can be catastrophic. With 67% of long-haul truckers in the U.S. smoking cigarettes, according to a study of the National Center for Biotechnology Information, preventing smoking in the cab during the transport of certain materials is a top priority for fleet managers. That's their argument. Isay Technologies Fleet Sense will enable fleet managers to receive real-time updates and set alerts for the presence of cigarette smoking during the transport of sensitive materials, improving upon old protocols of random inspections and manual monitoring of driver dash cams. Isay Technologies is an image processing and AI tech company headquartered in Israel with offices in Cupertino, Shenzhen, and Hong Kong. And in other news, a truck, a bus, and an RV make a hell of a sandwich. A motorist captured a frightening multi-vehicle crash on a dash cam this week. Excuse me. There are several videos in this article. There again, I'll have the link to the show notes down in the description below. So you can just click on the link. It'll take you directly to the show notes. Look up this article and you can see. And the reason why I don't post the videos here on my channel is because YouTube's real funny about that. If I don't have prior permission, they figure it's a copyright strike. And if you get 3 copyright strikes on your channel on YouTube, they will shut your channel down. And I really don't want that to happen because I enjoy doing this for you when I have the time. For you each week, try to get these done. As I'm getting more and more comfortable doing these videos, they'll be coming in progressively faster every week. And if you want the news a little bit quicker, you could also visit my podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google, or the website at juliastruckandcafe.com. Everything is under the hub of the cafe menu. But so that's the reason why if I mention a video that's in an article, I can't really show it because I will get a copyright strike on this channel. So back to the news. And a car driver hits a semi and then drives 4 miles without the front tire. I'm like, really, people? Wisconsin police have issued multiple charges against a motorist, according to the article, following a hit-and-run crash with a semi-truck on November 21st, about 2 in the morning in Racine County. Now, if you're not familiar with Wisconsin, Racine is just south of Milwaukee, like you're going to Chicago. According to a news release from the county sheriff's office, a 23-year-old motorist crashed his car into a semi-truck going southbound on I-41 in Yorkville. Police say that this driver, Drew Stanton, fled the scene of the crash, losing a tire to his car in the process. Officers were able to locate the vehicle, 4 miles from the crash site, driving on a sparking front driver's side wheel rim. In other words, tire rim. Stanton reportedly failed a sobriety test and he was arrested. He's also facing multiple charges, including OWI first offense, hit and run, accident, and reckless driving. And remember this young man? He made the news back in spring. He's the young man that hit 28 different cars, 24-year-old truck driver, Mr. Aguilera, back in Denver on Interstate 70. Well, guess what? He pled not guilty in court, and he's still going free. Now, for those of you that are new to my show and really don't know about this, just let me give you a little background information. For those of you that have heard about this story, it's going to be a little bit redundant for you, but I'm sorry, I want to catch everybody up. Aguilera, he's facing 41 charges, including vehicular homicide, for a crash that happened in slow traffic back in April on I-70 or near Lakewood, Colorado. He was going down that mountain at over 85 miles an hour, allegedly, and the truck speed limit for that hill or mountain is 45 miles an hour. The pileup ultimately involved 24 passenger vehicles and 4 semi-trucks. 4 people were killed and 2 others were seriously injured. His attorney argues for him that because a truck was parked on the shoulder of the road, which happened to be broke down, that they don't mention, and that there's other video where he actually went by truck runaway ramps. He went blowing by them, didn't take them, and he said he didn't want to wreck his truck at the time of the accident. He was hauling a load of lumber, so he decided to crash into 41 other cars. The trial, according to this article, the trial is now set for May 1st, 2020. He remains free on bond and is given permission to leave the state of Colorado while he waits trial. They also started a GoFundMe page where his family and friends have got together and raised over $100,000 for him, probably $120,000. If there's a $400,000 bond, if you don't know, you only have to put up 10%. So some of that money went for him to get bonded out of jail. And the next story is a beer truck was stolen, and the guy that stole it is sentenced to 20 years. This is Mr. Reyes. He's the one that stole the truck in Texas on November 22nd, announced that he's sentenced to 20 years in prison after he pled guilty. And it is grand theft auto. This happened November 6, 2018. He was driving on Highway 97 near the Tex Best gas station at the intersection of I-37 when he crashed his vehicle into the ditch. Well, he saw this Miller Lite beer truck across the road, so he hauled ass and stole it and began to drive through Pleasanton. Cops caught up with him and chased the truck for several miles. During the pursuit, The rear door of the beer truck opened up and Reyes was driving all over the road, sometimes in the oncoming lanes of traffic. Eventually, the truck jackknifed, totaling the newly purchased truck. Truck was brand spanking new. While being apprehended, the defendant assaulted the deputy and a sheriff's officer and was eventually charged with evading arrest in a vehicle, theft of property, value between $30,000 and $100,000, and assault on an officer. Reyes was high at the time and was apprehended with cocaine across his top lip, forming a coke stash. Baggies of cocaine were found in his first car that he crashed, and Reyes had previously been in prison for enhanced assault involving family violence, tampering with evidence, and possession of a controlled substance in a correctional facility. So in other words, he was getting cocaine inside the jail and turned around and they released his ass. Well, I guess he's going to be locked up in the Hooskow for quite a while. And in other news, this cool story, this young man spent 24/7 on top of a semi to buy a new truck for a good cause. This is Carson and his father. And here he is spending time on top of this truck. He's from Florida and he hopes to haul in a truckload of money for a charity by spending a week on top of a truck. He's 14 years old. Carson Rudy is spending 24 hours a day for a whole week living on top of a semi-truck out of Lake Wales, Florida. Why, do you ask? Carson's on a mission to raise enough money to buy a new semi-truck for a charity, Convoy of Hope, a group that trucks in relief supplies to victims after disasters. His ultimate goal is to raise $250,000 for the charity group by 2024. The charity effort is dubbed Carson's Big Rig Project, and it kicked off at noon on November 19th. For the entire week following that, Carson is spending the whole day camped out on top of a truck with only a 10-minute daily shower break. That means he's eating, sleeping, and even using the restroom while he's on top of the truck. Carson plans to remain on top of the truck until Tuesday. You can donate to Carson's Big Rig Project on Facebook. They have a Facebook page, and you can donate there. Otherwise, this article will also be in the show notes. And in New Orleans, police are saying that a Dashcam video shows how a stage crash targeting truckers. A new investigation by WWL-TV, which is a New Orleans news channel, uses a body cam footage to show you just how stage crash scams are targeting truck drivers are being pulled off. The investigation focuses on a scheme involving fake commercial vehicles that crash in New Orleans, during which WWL-TV says that scammers pack a car full of people, sideswipe a truck, plant witnesses to blame the truck driver, then file a lawsuit in hopes of winning a big payout. And last month I reported on this, that the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Louisiana indicted 5 people on this scheme, and also charged them with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and wire fraud in connection with this alleged stage crash that happened back in June of 2017. Investigators believe that the scheme has been conducted dozens of times in the New Orleans area. There again, there's a video at the bottom of this article, and it'll be in the link of the show notes. And a dump truck driver distracted driving ends up him narrowly missing a really bad wreck. On November 18th in Reading, Pennsylvania, this dump truck driver was distracted and suddenly traffic slowed down and he had to swerve severely to avoid what could have been a chain reaction crash. In the video, traffic slows down as the vehicles enter a construction zone. The dump truck driver isn't able to stop in time and is forced to swerve into the median, clipping a car but avoiding what might have been a very serious pileup. So put the phone down, people, and drive. And a reckless car driver attempts a tight squeeze between two semi-trucks. Motorist attempts an ill-advised pass between two trucks on a California highway. This incident was caught on Dashcam November 15th. This Dashcam operator writes, an accident at 3:30 in the morning on 15 freeway at Cajon Pass. A vehicle attempts to pass between two semi-trucks and causes the wreck. And there'll be some more footage there. And Volvo announces layoffs, mass layoffs due to the lack of demand for trucks. Volvo plans to lay off hundreds of workers at a Virginia plant due to an expected decrease in demand for trucks. Volvo has confirmed that they plan to lay off around 700 people at the Dublin, Virginia plant at the end of the year. Currently, about 3,300 people work at that plant. Volvo points to an expected downturn. Now, this is expected. This is projected downturn in North American truck market as a reason for the layoff. The company reportedly expects North American truck market to be down 30% or 100,000 trucks in 2020. The layoffs are scheduled to begin on January 20th, 2020. And John Mize of Volvo writes, we regret to take this action, but we operate in a cyclical market. That's a hard word to say. And after 2 years of extremely high volumes, we have to adapt to reduce market demand. I'm wondering, and this is my own wonderment, I'm wondering if the demand or the downturn of demands is because they're mandatorily putting in the anti-collision stuff. The cameras, the radar on the front of the truck, the wingman on the side. That's mandatory on brand new Volvos anymore. And a lot of drivers aren't going to do it. Now, Peterbilt and Kenworth, you could still get those trucks without the anti-collision stuff, the idiot-proof stuff on the trucks. But Volvo, it's mandatory. So I'm thinking they shot themselves in the foot doing it. Back to the article. This reduction in production will unfortunately mean the layoff of about 700 people beginning the week of January 20th, 2020. Outplacement support meetings led by the company and United Auto Worker reps will be provided for all affected employees. And I reported last month that United Auto Workers was striking that Volvo plant. So apparently this is the negotiations that they come down to. In October, 80% of the workers at Dublin plant were temporarily laid off due to the United Auto Workers strike. And last month, Daimler Trucks North America announced the layoff of 900 workers at two North Carolina Freightliner plants. Oops, excuse me. Got an itch. And a teammate tussle turns into getting hammered, and not in a good way. In Wyoming, police say that an argument between co-drivers at a truck stop turned violent. This happened about 8 o'clock on the 25th of November at the Pilot in Cheyenne. They say two team drivers who were driving, team drivers, you're going to be driving the same semi-truck, for Pete's sake, were in an argument, and one of the drivers struck the other one in the head multiple times with a hammer. Really? Really? You get so pissed off you got to beat somebody with a hammer? Really? The victim was transported to the hospital for treatment. At the time of this article, his condition is unknown. The other driver was arrested on aggravated assault. I'm like, I would have got him for attempted homicide. Good Lord. And cops catch a driver with missing wheels on his trailer. You think? Police say that a truck driver was issued multiple charges after he was caught driving minus several wheels. What happened to the pre-trip inspection? You don't think you would have been noticing that, the hub assembly and everything is gone. Well, the hub assembly looks like it's there, kind of, sort of. But, the rims and everything are gone. You would think that you could tell that your trailer is kind of dragging a little bit. Now, this happened in Canada. In Saskatchewan, police say they received a 911 call about a truck around 8:30 at night on Sunday, November 14th. They located the truck and pulled it over, and they didn't elaborate on what happened to the truck, but they did say that the truck driver was charged with driving with a major defect, you think, operating a vehicle with no safety inspection, and displaying an unauthorized license plate. I wonder if he didn't even have any CDL at all. I'm like, good grief. Just a second. Sorry about the delay. If you enjoy the show and would like to support me, the link to do so is in the description, which is below. Don't forget to subscribe. Whoops. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll get it right yet. I'm backwards. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel by hitting the little red button below. And I greatly, greatly appreciate all of you who tune in to watch me make blunders out of myself every week to the cafe. There again, it's going to be getting a whole lot better, so I do apologize. I'm trying to loosen up. I'm trying to act, this is fun. This is my truck back here. If you see a little black shadow running around, that's my cat from time to time. If you like to check me out, at the bottom of every episode, down in the description box, or you could find the links, on the podcast, juliastruckercafe.com, or Facebook page, the same thing. Check out the Julia's Trucker Cafe regular discussion group. I also share recipes on the website and videos also of stupid stuff that drivers do. I would ask if you wouldn't mind to subscribe to the email list at juliastruckercafe.com/newsletter. This way I could send you the show notes right to your inbox. You don't have to worry about coming back to the website to keep going as far as digging around in the website or anything to look at stuff. Before I forget, please leave a comment or give me a thumbs up. If you like the video, thumbs down if you don't. Like I said, I'm new to this. I'm way out of my comfort zone. I'm really, really, really trying to get this right. I read each and every email. I read each and every comment. You can always email me at info@juliastruckercafe.com. Leave a comment on the website if you'd like to, or here in the YouTube channel if you like the show or anything that I could do better. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a blessed week. Keep the shiny side up. And until next time, have a great one. You have been listening to Julia's Trucker Cafe Truckin' News Hour. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Take care. Have a blessed day.